for Asgard. In society, in our lifetime, past and present, we are told that the king, we can go as far as say maybe queen as well, but we'll keep it as king just for this video. King, we can go with presidents, prime ministers, various leaders, emperors, whatever their name is. But we'll just go with kings. The king, or whoever is king, usually isn't the one in charge. They may be the one giving out orders and things like that. They may have some power. But it's really those that you can't see. It's usually the puppet master that has all, or at least most, of the power. It's the people that put the king in position that have most or more of the power. We're told that the king is powerful, and can make rules and this and that. But I don't know. I really think that the puppet master, those that you can't see, is who is in charge. And it could be one person, it could be many people, a council of people, but it's always those that are behind the scenes, those people that you can't see. They're the ones that are in true power. They're the ones telling the king what they can or can't do, or advising the king. They're the ones that are suspending the king, expelling the king, killing the king. They're the ones that are calling the shots. Everyone always wants to be the king, 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 king. But it's really the puppet master that is the most powerful of them all. Because that puppet master not only just controls the king, controls the queen, they control the people, the slaves, the workers. They control it all. They can say whatever they say happens. The king may have some power like that, but usually those behind the scenes, when they disagree with what the king says, either depending on the time and place you are, either again they expel the king or they kill the king. Look at chess, for example. The king is probably is the weakest piece on the board. Many people will say the pawns, but at least the pawns, with the pawns, you can get another piece back. Depending on the way you play, if the pawns get to the other end of the board, they can get another piece back. And usually, people are going to pick another king. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to choose the queen. They're going to choose the rook. They may even choose the knight. They're not going to choose a king. Because the king is a weak piece. Could only move one space at a time. Even the pawns could at least move twice at a time at the beginning. Pawns can be cover, pawns can block, pawns can help with the diversion, but the king, just one space at a time. Gotta protect the king, and that's it. Well, everyone else is more powerful. The knight, the bishop, the rooks, the queen. Way powerful. Just a good example of how even if you're the king, you really don't have all or much power. And we look at a chessboard. Sometimes we forget the most strongest piece while playing chess. Maybe not be on the board, but one of the strongest pieces in chess is the player. And kind of goes back with puppets, those behind the scenes, the puppet master. They're the ones that are calling the shots. They're the ones saying which piece should go there. They're the ones coming up with a strategy. While the king has to wait for the puppet master, the guy behind the scenes, to tell him where or when to move. The king is, there's exception, but the king isn't the most powerful. The king is just a puppet, chosen and selected by non-kings, usually non-kings, selected by slaves, selected by peasants, depending on the story. But they don't really call the shots. It's those guys behind the scenes. And we've seen this in many movies. I can't name the top of my head right now, but where the king always has these advisors. They always have these advisors. Or other people, putting the king in power. Other people, telling the king what to do, how to be a king. There are many movies like that where the king or random guy is put in place, and it's the butler. It's someone behind the scenes telling the king what they can or cannot do. If you're the king, you shouldn't need that. You should be able to make up any rule you want. But that's not how it goes. If you're a king and you make up any rule you want, those behind the scenes are either going to kill you or suspend you or dethrone you. So it's because you're a king, you don't have all the power. So people always want to talk about, oh, I'm a king. You're a puppet. And I get the meaning of king. King, it's symbolic to being, the best, the greatest, the ruler, the winner. I get it. But from a realistic, historical standpoint, the king is just a puppet. The king is just a puppet. You're put in the place of power, but you can't really make decisions. Can't even make your own decisions. And when you do go against the grain, against what has been set, you can be overthrown by pawns. You can be overthrown by your advisors. Those behind the scenes that no one knows about, that no one thinks is as strong as the king. Where all the other slaves and peasants are worshiping and praising the king. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there are people that just don't like this guy and can suspend him, expel him, and kick him out, kill him at any time. And the people behind the scenes, and the slaves don't know nothing. Because they're given this illusion, as if the king actually has power, when in fact the king is just a puppet, just a guy or woman maybe, being told what to do. They may have a little bit more immunity. They may have some layaway. They may be able to, not get in trouble. They may be able to get away with a lot of things. But again, in the end, the king, again, there's always those exceptions, but the king is not the most powerful. The king is not in charge. And we can call them presidents, we can call them prime ministers, emperors, you name it, whatever you want to call them, kings, queens, princesses. They're not in charge. It's those that we can't see, those that we've never worshipped before, probably people that we would never want to worship, are the ones that are calling the shots, the ones that are ruling. It's just like with a job. I think KRS-One explained this better. You're an employee, then you go, you speak to the manager. And that manager will then speak to another supervisor. And then that supervisor may speak to maybe the VP. And that VP may have to speak to the district manager. And that district manager may have to speak to another district manager. And that district manager may have to speak to another executive. Then there's the president. Then there's the CEO. And then there's the owner. And then there's the board. Then there's the council. And speaking of that, in some companies, the council can kick out, overthrow, dethrone, lay off the owner and or CEO. So again, they have enough power, but they don't hold all the cards. It's always those behind the scenes that we don't see, don't know of, that are really the ones that are in control. Hope that makes sense. Agree, disagree, call it BS. But hey, would you rather be a king or would you rather be the puppet master? But anyways, for Asgard.